Hank, I know we always hear the standard is the standard, right? But, this team's been trying to get the run game on track for years, and this is the year it seems like it's really clicked despite the moving pieces you've had from. So what has been the key difference this year that's helped get things moving in the right direction of the run game?
I think the guys' effort, it takes everybody, not just the O-line. You can say it starts there, but quarterbacks making the right checks, getting us in the right situations, to running backs really. I always say running backs can make us look good. You saw a couple blocked this past week, or, free runners where our backs still made 8 yards, and receivers doing their job, and tight ends. And I think it's an accumulation of everybody detailing their work. And I just, express to our guys, take the mentality, my guy's not making the play. And if you got your hat on their hat, he can't make it, or you at least give yourself a shot. And so as long as you do your assignment and you cover up everybody else and just give the lone guy that can try to make the play, you can be pretty successful. And so it all works together hand in hand. And fortunate enough, we've been in some games where we're able to continue to run the ball. I think that plays a factor too of where does it stop, second halves, where you're at in the situation. So it's helped, and the run game's you always got to oil it up, grease it up to keep it going. Sometimes it doesn't look pretty early on, and it just wears on teams if you can continue to do that and make the run game efficient. At the end of the day, I always say efficiency is the best thing. What's the efficiency of the runs? Not always does it always look good, because you could rip a 80-yarder off, but the other 35 runs you were gaining nothing, So how's your efficiency in the run game?
How much pride do you take in what you're describing, where you put a fifth string running back and a second team center and a second team left guard, and you can still have the efficiency that you guys have had on the ground? How much pride do you take in your room and the job you've done with those guys?
I think, Coach, when he first came in and was talking about the grit, we've always talked about the grit and next man up mentality. You hear it all the time in sports, next man up, but, when you're not in that seat and you're not the starter, at least in my room, make sure you're prepared for it. So when the time comes, you're ready to go, and not say, hey, I want to be that guy. So, because there's going to come a time, if you're the next guy in, it takes one play. If you're two guys, behind that guy, it takes 2 or 3 plays and you're in. So just preparing like a starter, and that's how I want our guys to approach it all the time. It doesn't matter where they're at. They might even know they're going to be deactivated that week, but keep preparing like a starter. Most of these guys won't know. They get a feeling of maybe rotations during practice when they're not, but they're always ready to go, especially in our day and age with all the COVID and stuff. I mean, you can wake up Sunday morning and all of a sudden you're like, I was supposed to be inactive and you're playing. So I think if you continue to prepare like a starter, you're going to be okay, and you're going to go in there. You might not have got all the reps during the week, but you're going to know what to do, and you can go out there and play okay. And I think that's what our mentality, and at least in our room, and I would say our whole building is, it's the next guy up. And when you get those opportunities, they're far and few in between. You take advantage of it, and because it could be your last one, and let's play it like your last, and maybe that leads you on to your next your next future contract, or all of a sudden you start becoming a starter. Make it hard for a coach to take you out of those roles.
And Jonah, go ahead, follow. I was just going to say, Jonah obviously got a lot of recognition this week from the guys he plays against, being a second alternate to the Pro Bowl. So where have you seen his biggest jump in his second season?
I kind of mentioned that a little bit about Jonah, because he just stays under the radar, and maybe even with media or whatever, he's not flashy. Just does his job, goes about his work. And I actually just said that, and it says a lot to your peers and other coaches that, becoming an alternate, it's definitely a good individual award, I think he's just, his consistency, early in the year, he just gets better every year and better every week and every day. He's a grinder. He's quiet doing it, but yet, I know you guys get to see his mentality when he does step on the field. A light comes on, and which I love about him. He's he doesn't take any crap out there, and he's feisty in his own right. And but he's been good for the room. He's been good demeanor. Of course, we got to see him at the Senior Bowl a couple years ago. We got first hands on him and eyes on him, so it was good to see. And it just shows a lot, the work, and those are individual awards I wish all our guys could get, because I do think on our team we have a heck of a lot more pro ballers than what gets, put out there, but, those are awards that other players, deem you to be pretty good, and I think he's still up and coming, we have a lot of guys in our room, and I think in this locker room that can be deserving of that award, and you only get so many spots to do it, but it just has a lot to them.
Yes. I was just going to ask, we've asked a lot about Panay, right? I mean, going back to the summer, there's such a spotlight on every little thing that he did, good and bad. And I guess as we get hit the home stretch here, and he's playing so well, he's played so well for so long, I'm just curious where you've seen the biggest developments in Panay, either, on the field or maybe away from the field. That's helped him get to this point.
One, I think confidence is probably one of the biggest keys is walking on there. He's already a confident guy. He's been a confident guy. I mean, I was fortunate to scout him in high school too, so he's always had confidence about him. But one, learning the game out there, it's a different speed each week, and it's a different opponent. But confidence is number one. I think just walking out there, yep, I got it. And he has all the ability in the world, and he's continued to push himself and others in that room, and push each other and help each other out. We were just talking about that, is how we can get better from other people and talking and stuff. And that's what he's learned from his mistakes, and he has them. Not everybody always sees them, but he's on them and tries not to repeat those mistakes. So he can be as good as he wants to be, I think, and and as long as he continues to stay healthy and all that, he can be a special player in this league.
So I guess to that point, Hank, have you talked to him yet about next year, next offseason, where you want to see him go? Or have you thought about it, like what he can do to get to the next level?
Oh, man, we got Atlanta this week. That's a long way. I mean, I know it's not that long, but it's still a long ways away in this world. It's day to day. We'll address all that at the end, where we see things, where we need to be. But right now, Atlanta has really been our main focus, and everybody's main focus is Atlanta. It's a good team where we're going about to face, a good front, a good defense. So that stuff will come once we finally can just settle down. But right now, it's all about still, hey, we got this week, and then a couple more weeks later.
Realizing that Atlanta is the focus, but this is another sort of bigger picture question. Like your top 6 linemen are under team control for next year. What sort of value is there in having that experience, that unit being together, I guess, for such a long time, potentially?
I think continuity is the biggest thing, right? Like, you talk about cohesiveness and just being together and not putting different puzzles in there. But if we can keep guys together, it's always a better thing. That stuff, like I said, that's for, Coach Campbell and those guys and Brad to take care of Holmes, and we'll worry about that at the end of the year. I know we're missing a couple pieces this week, but it's good. Those guys worked well together. We do have a good room, and we're trying to, like I said, get better each week. We're far from perfect, but we're trying to strive that way, and we got a great challenge ahead of us this week.
I wanted to ask you about Evan. I think in this time replacing Frank, he's proven he can start in this league. And so obviously Frank is the long-term center for this franchise. Do you see Evan having the ability to play guard, start at guard in this league, or is he, because of maybe his size or skill set, is he limited to be a center?
Last year, honestly, when we first got him, a couple weeks in, all of a sudden he's playing guard for us, and he played really well, like Minnesota week. And when Frank was healthy, until everybody was ready to go, sometimes there is a number system of who's going to go in the game, who's ready to go in the game, who's still trying to get there. He's very reliable. I think he can, when he puts his mind to it, he can do whatever he wants. Size is just, it's a numbers. Could he play guard and start at guard? Yeah, he could definitely do that. He's done well for himself, and I think each week he gets better and better, and the more you play, that's how it seems to work anyway. The more you see, the more you play, the better you can become. And he's got a chance to become a really good player in this league, a solid player in this league. And, it helps, as soon as he got here, he had Frank to bounce stuff off of, and he bounces stuff off of Frank. And it's good to see Frank around because he comes in the building and comes to our meetings before he gets out of there. So, but Evan has a chance to be a starter in this league. If it's center or guard, it's really up to him.
Yeah.
Between
You guys have two more?
between him, Tommy, Matt, those guys have all, I think, played better than an average backup in this league. And backup offensive line play is a pretty big topic of conversation because there's just a drop off with the limited practice time. So is there something, as you're evaluating, or something in your coaching process that has helped you get these efforts out of, I guess, quote unquote backups?
I haven't just sat back, but I know when we're, as a staff, we're doing evaluations and trying to get, and I know Matt was here before the new staff, and of course I was. Man, all I ask for is attitude and effort, and if you get that, we can get stuff done and accomplished, and it really takes those guys doing it and getting the right person. And it doesn't matter if it's this business or any business in the country or the world, the right person makes a difference, and attitude and effort, you can do that. You can take talent, they're all talented guys, and work with them and what they really excel at, try to get them better, and what they need to get better at, work on that, continue to work on that, and don't forget about what they're good at, because you don't want to lose how good you are at that, and continue it. So, but attitude and effort, you give us that, I think we can take it somewhere. So.
A lot of people have pointed to Josh Reynolds' that addition and taking away plays is sort of the start of this offense really coming around. It's coincided with Taylor Becker's return too. So just from your perspective, what sort of impact has he had on this whole thing coming together?
Well, Taylor, like we were just talking about Pro Bowls earlier. Like I do deem Taylor one of the top tackles in this league. So, you always joke around with Pro Bowl snubs. Taylor's a good left tackle, probably one of the better left tackles in this league, if not the best in my opinion. All right, everybody can always argue that, but he helps us. He makes us better. He makes that whole room better, and he's fun to be around. And those guys really feed off of each other. He can push Panay can push him. To be who's the better swing tackle, stuff like that. You could argue maybe their game's a little bit different, in some stuff, but those two bookends, man, they can be very special in this league. You don't get a chance to have two bookends like that in this league, and really in that room, we can be pretty special up front. It's just try to stay healthy and stay hungry. Like, don't be complacent and satisfied. As soon as we become complacent and satisfied, man, we're gonna get run over. So, that's our motto in that room. And really, it probably stems from me learning from coaches that have coached me. And that was one of the biggest, there's an O-line coach still coaching in the league that used to tell me, Hank, don't get complacent. You became the starter, don't get complacent. 6 years later, they traded me. So maybe I got complacent, no, but I've always taken that with me, and everywhere I've gone, man, is just, even as sitting in this seat, is don't get complacent, and all of a sudden, you're gonna get run right by. So I really want to apologize. Coach Fitt brought you guys heaters and stuff. I didn't, but it feels a little warmer in there. I don't see them on, but it definitely feels better. So I see it. So